Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, here on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, deliver us from the wicked one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, deliver us from the wicked one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is, oh yeah, the kingdom and the power and the glory, oh yeah, forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as it is on earth. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes, indeed. It is another Sabbath day. And let me first start off by saying Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. This is your Akazaki Yahoo. And I start this broadcast as I would start any broadcast by first of all giving all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom Wabarukim. That is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait till the day that the Most High brings us back together. And we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant. Praise you, Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Joined this evening by my very most esteemed Aki Kenanaya. Shabbat Shalom once again, Aki.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Mark. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal. All praises to the Most High for allowing us another opportunity to get back into this word. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. So good to be back into the word. This word written through the prophet Ezekiel.
Yehezqėl.
Yehezqėl. Yehezqėl. Good stuff. Good stuff we went over last night. And I know we're going to get into some more right here and now. So let's get directly to it and not waste any more time. Praises to the Father for another Sabbath Yom. And man, so good to be back in the Sabbath. I look forward to each and every Sabbath. I look forward to the time to sit back and get some rest in. So praise to the Father. Hallelujah. All right, we are at chapter 22, and the headline reads, The Sins of Israel. It's never good to start off with about sin, but unfortunately, when you're dealing with Israel, it's usually the topic of discussion.
Okay.
Sad to say. Verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Now you, son of man, will you judge? Will you judge the bloody city? Yea, you shall show her all her abominations. Then say you saith, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, the city sheddeth blood in the midst of it, that her time may come, that she maketh idols, and maketh idols against herself to defile herself. So right again, we right back to the shedding of blood as well as the idolatry. Two things that Abba don't tolerate when it comes to his people. Idolatry and shedding of blood, innocent blood especially. Verse 4, you art become guilty in the blood that you have shed. You have defiled yourself in thine idols, which you have made. You have caused your days to draw near, and are come even unto your years, Selachia. Therefore have I made you a reproach unto the heathen, and a mocking of all countries. Verse 5. Those that be near and those that be far from you shall mock you, which are infamous and much vexed. So he got the people, even people from afar. So he got people over on the other side of the world mocking Israel for the folly, because of the idolatry and shedding of innocent blood. Have mercy, Father. Verse 6. Behold, the princes of Israel, every one wherein you, Salaki, let me start that over. Behold, the princes of Israel, every one wherein you to their power to shed blood. In you have they set light by father and mother. In the midst of you have they dealt by oppression with the stranger. And you have they vexed the fatherless and the widow. Now these things we've been warned about constantly, dealing with the fatherless, the widow, and the stranger. Doing well with them. People wouldn't listen. Verse 8. You have despised your Kodesh things and profaned my Sabbaths. In you are men that carry tablets to shed blood. It's like in you are men that carry tails to shed blood, and in you they eat up the mountains, and in the midst of you they commit lewdness. In you have they discovered their father's nakedness. In you have they humbled her that was set apart from pollution. So they doing all manner of just filth. I mean, just horrible thing. You discovering your father's nakedness? What kind of foolishness is this? The very things that Abba told us don't do, this is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, this is a very lewd people,
My gracious.
a people whose moral code and moral compass is
Broken. I mean, shattered to pieces. I mean, just horrible. Like,
It's almost sounds like, if you were to drive through, certain of our community,
yeah,
what you would be seeing.
right here today. Right here today. That's exactly what's going on. It's amazing how things just repeat. It's ridiculous, honestly. Verse 11. and one had committed abomination with his neighbor's wife, and another had lewd defiled his daughter-in-law, and another of you had humbled his sister, his daughter, his father's daughter. Mm.
We saw that with
Yeah,
the son of Dawid. We've waxed worse since then.
Kind, yeah. We actually have. I really wanted to credit these heathen that we scattered around for doing these things. But we was doing these things in Jerusalem.
Come on, man.
That's the worst. We doing these things in Jerusalem, where we were captains and princes and kings. These are the things that we doing. Unreal. Verse 12. Shalakia. You have taken gifts to shed blood. You have taken usury and increase. You have greedily gained of your neighbor by extortion. You have forgotten me, saith Adonai Yahuwah. How you forget Abba Yah? I mean, that is foolery. And you got the men of the Most High telling you what? Keep doing what you're doing? Or they telling you to turn from it and repent because you're about to get destroyed? You didn't want to listen to Yehezqėl, had him in all manner of bad situations. Fearful that he was going to get destroyed. Now we're reading the prophet Ezekiel, and the Most High revealing to him the same exact stuff. Continuing, verse 13. Behold, therefore, I have smitten my hands at your dishonest gain, which you have made, and at your blood, which you have been in the midst of you. Can your heart endure, or can your hands be strong in the days that I shall deal with you? I, Yahuwah, have spoken it and will do it. See, these are the terms. This is the conversation that we don't want. So that's why we should steer clear of these wicked things. You can't do these wicked things, these things that he told us do not do these things. And we go right off and do it. He told us don't do it because the other people were doing it. And what we do, we go right off and do it ourselves. Verse 15. And I will scatter you among the heathen and disperse you in the countries, and will consume your filthiness out of you. So now you're going to get it out. Verse 16. And you shall take your inheritance and yourself in the sight of the heathen, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. And the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel is come to me, dross. Shalakia. The house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. They are even as dross of silver. So I believe dross is something that go into the fire, or something that needs to be
purified in that fire, or something, or purged rather.
Sieg. A moving back or away, usually of silver. Dross, usually of silver. I hate when they use the same word.
Yeah.
I really hate that. Like this tape. Let's put I don't know on there. Something regarding worthless. Wow. I think we did see that before. Now that we see the definition, I remember that feeling of wow, worthless. Wow. Man, okay, continue with verse 19. Uh, Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah power, because you are all become dross. Behold, therefore I will gather you unto the midst of Jerusalem. I don't know why I thought I read that wrong. Verse 20, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin unto the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire up upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Wow. Yea, I will gather you and blow up on you in the fire of my wrath, and you shall be melted in the midst thereof. Right. My goodness. I mean, you do not want to get this power on your head, because he'll go there, and it won't be nice. It won't be like no big deal. You know how you be like, well, not you. I'm saying, I'm just saying, you know how a person can be like, I seen a comedian a while back, and it was a white dude, and he said sometimes he'll run a stop sign just because it's raining. He's like, yeah, I got the money, get out the car. Just so the police had to get out in the rain.
All right.
I thought that was hilarious, but yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to just run the stop sign, and get a $50 or $70 ticket, because it's going to be much worse than that. I've been giving out $50, $70 tickets. He putting us in the furnace to melt us. That's what he said. Verse 22. As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall you be melted in the midst thereof. And you shall know that I, Yahuwah, have poured out my fury upon you. See, you don't want to tempt this power.
Not at all. Not at all.
He's not to be trifled with. He's not to be toyed with. He's not to be tempted. You can't do that. Verse 23. And the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto her, you are the land, Slaki, you are the land that is not cleansed, nor rained upon in the day of indignation. I don't know why I read that as a question. You are the land that is not cleansed, nor rained upon in the day of indignation. It sounds like a question.
Yeah, he said say. Well, the way when he said saying to him, I was thinking maybe he did pose it as a question, but
they put it as a statement with a period instead of a sound like they would have been. Anyway, continue with here, verse 25. There is no conspiracy in her prophets. Is that right? Conspiracy? Yeah. Conspiracy in her prophets in the midst thereof, like a roaring lion ravening its prey, ravening the prey. They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made many widows. Yeah, that's right. Widows in the midst thereof. Initially, I thought that was windows, but that's widows. Verse 26. Her priests have violated my law. You don't want to say that. You don't want that to be the case. You don't want the Most High saying, your priests have violated my law. You think he was talking about the Christian church? My goodness. Talking about the RCC. He ain't talking about the RCC. He's talking about Yashar, Israel. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned my Kodesh things, my set apart things. They have not put a difference between the set apart and the profane. Neither have they showed the difference between the unclean and the clean. They have hid their eyes from my Sabbath, and they have profaned among them. Slaki, and I am profane among them. Slaki, my bad. I am profane among them. So the Abba is profane among the priests because they is not doing what they're supposed to do. They violated his law, put no difference between the set apart and the regular, between the clean and unclean. They've hid their eyes from his Sabbath, and he is profane among them.
And Karnak, and remembering what we read in Torah,
Right.
the purpose of the priest to minister unto Yahweh and teach the people,
Right.
So these priests are the salt that's lost the savor, and it's not just the priests. When we don't walk in our purpose, we are that salt that's lost its savor.
Trampled, nothing good to be trampled on the no good but to be trampled under the foot of men. That's it. And we wonder why we get captivity continuously. That's why. Verse 27. Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey, to shed blood and to destroy souls, to get dishonest gain. Like what in the world was they thinking? Like what do you think gonna happen? Right. You just come on, man. Y'all tripping.
Yeah. Proud of life, because now that's what life has become, about gain, about personal gain and status. Yeah. Everybody's chasing vanity.
Right. Yeah, this is in the midst of your own people. And don't get me wrong, I sadly say one of the elders, actually it was Zabak, he was talking about, talking on one of their videos, and they said that, I believe it was in California, or not in California, it was either California or I think it was in California or Atlanta, that they were watching the black business owners. And the black business owners, they would follow, I believe it was in California, they would follow, if you were black and own your own business, they would follow you home and basically do a home invasion and rob you.
Wow.
But they wouldn't do that to the other people.
Right.
They was targeting these black owners. And these were so-called Negroes doing this. Not only our people in the truth, but these were, what he called them, them N-words.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand that. Like, why that? Of all things. And then he even brought out, you got Beverly Hills and all of this money out here and all of this. They don't bother them. They're not gonna fool with that. But if you black and own a business, now they're trying to follow you home and invade your house. Like, what kind of foolishness is this? Like, you can't even do well. And I can't remember where it was, but yeah, I remember it was California because I was trying to think of the city. That's been Los Angeles, because Beverly Hills is right there in the midst, and that was the comparison that he made. So that's sad to think about. And then we're reading it right here in the text. They basically doing the same thing. Right. Like I said, it's like watching the news. Reading this text is like watching the news. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Verse 28. And her prophets have dabbled them with untempered mortar, seeing vanity and dividing lies to them, saying, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, when Yahuwah have not spoken. So they just lying. Like, how fearful, ain't no way in the world. I mean, literally, there's no way in the world that I would say, Yahuwah told me, and then lie through my teeth. You know what I'm saying? You know how, bro, Yahuwah kill me. If I said that, man, I'm so thankful he got that in me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't imagine I was saying this about Hezekiel said, I said this, and I ain't said nothing to him. Like, I will. Man, that's crazy. Verse 29. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. 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 Verse 30. And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that they should not destroy it. But I found none. Verse 31. Therefore, I will pour out my indignation upon them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way have I recompensed upon their head, saith Yahuwah. Saith Adonai Yahuwah. Man, you can't even be mad about the wickedness. They're getting that back because they doing some straight up folly.
Okay.
And I mean, just horrible. I'm trying to think of where you probably read. It was a while back that I read it. It was it in Yashar or You Believe, where it was talking about what was going on in Sodom. Or it may have been something else. It may have been another one of the Pickleford books. But it was talking about Sodom, and it was just so corrupt. Like, if you came in the city, they wanted money from you. If you tried to lead the city, or if you did anything, they did everything they could to take everything you had.
Con, I'm trying to think where we did read that at.
One of those Pseudo-Fickleford books. It had to have been. I can't remember where it was.
Okay.
It's been years since I saw it. I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, it was like so detailed. It was like, no wonder they had to go. Like, that place should still be burning, wicked as that was. That was some wicked stuff. All right, continuing chapter 23. It sound like Jerusalem. The reason I said that is because it sounds like Jerusalem along the same lines. Like, they just...
Wow, that's a very good analogy, what you just said and what you're getting ready to read.
Right. Oh, yeah, what is this? Ola?
Ahoa. I think it's spelled with the O here, but it's pronounced with the A, I believe. Ahoala, and Ahoalaba.
Ahoalaba. Sin. And its consequence. Okay, the book of Yehezqeel, chapter 23 and verse 1. The word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother. So a woman had two children, two daughters. And they committed whoredom in Mizraim. They committed whoredom in their youth, where their there where their breasts pressed, and there they bruised the teats of their virginity.
I want to say we saw that before, and it was referencing breast.
Yeah. Excuse my immaturity. Can't read stuff like that without laughing. Like, that's like, what? That's in the book?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Verse 4. And the name of them was Ahola, the elder, and Aholibah, her sister. And they were mine. And they had bare sons and daughters. And their name was Samaria, is Ahola, and Jerusalem was Ahoabah. And Ahoabah played the harlot when she was mine, and she denoted on her lovers, on the Assyrian, her neighbor, which was clothed with blue, captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, or
Desirable.
desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses. Thus she committed her whoredom with them, and with all them that were chosen men of Assyria, and with all on whom she denoted, and with their idols she defiled herself. Neither left she her whoredom brought from Jerusalem, from Mizraim, for in her youth they laid with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity, and they poured their whoredom upon her. Wherefore I have delivered her unto the hand of her lovers, unto the hand of the Assyrian, upon whom she denoted. These discovered her nakedness, and took her sons and daughters, and slew her with the sword, and she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her. And when her sister Aholibor saw this, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love. She was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredom more than her sister in her whoredoms. In her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms. So he's illustrating a picture of Israel, the wicked one, doing the wickedness and all of this idolatry and wickedness and just being evil.
Mm-hmm.
And them getting drug off by the Assyrians, but yet when Yehuda saw it, instead of Yehuda being fearful and saying, "Ooh, Abba ain't playing," they did the same thing and worse, to the point where now you got to go with the Babylonians and the Chaldeans. I'm gonna sick them on you because you're doing worse than they doing. Than Israel did, than the northern kingdom did. Let me say it like that. My goodness, verse 12. She denoted upon the Assyrians her neighbors, captains and rulers, clothed most graciously, horsemen riding upon horses, and all them desirable young men. Then she saw that she was defiled.
Oh,
That
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Then I saw.
Salakia, my bad. I don't know how I put that. It's completely different. All right, verse 13, Salakia. Let me start there from the top. Then I saw that she was defiled, that they took both one away, and that she increased her whoredoms. And when she saw men portrayed upon the wall, the image of the Chaldeans portrayed with vermilion. Vermilion?
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not sure what it is though.
Okay, yeah, let's check that out because I don't know what that vermilion is. Portrayed with vermilion had to be maybe some kind of like architecture or sculpture or something like what's the stuff they call on a hieroglyph? That type of thing.
Shashar.
So like I remember that word. Red color clay. Or red color same word. Thank you.
Right.
That's so helpful.
Oh, this was a insect.
Oh.
Insect that gave him like dye for I believe.
Former games from was it Kermes?
Yeah, Khan.
Okay. Let's see if we can find a little bit more information on here.
Yeah, I want to say we looked it up too, and we saw that little red bug.
Yeah. Okay. Khan. Yeah. I remember. Brilliant red color. Okay. Khan. Yeah. Okay, let's continue there. Yeah, so much stuff we've been over. I can't remember all this. Verse 15, all praises though. It's good stuff to try to remember. Girded with girdles upon, verse 15, girded with girdles upon their loins, exceeding in dyed attire upon their heads. All of them princes to look to, after the manner of the Babylonians and Chaldeans, and the land of their nativity. And as soon as she was, and as soon as she saw them with her eyes, she denoted upon them and sent messages unto them, unto the Chaldeans.
You remember when Ezekiel, I believe, had invited them in to see the whole treasure.
Right. Yeah.
He said nothing stuff I didn't show him. Nothing in my house I didn't show him.
Show them everything. Yeah, let me take you to the vault. Check out this vault. It's vault dope. Let me tell you the combination. Yeah, you'll never come back and bother me, right? Yeah.
Right.
Tripping. That teaches us a lesson. Like, you could have been telling them about your power. Like he done gave you 15 more. Instead, you show them out. Check out my riches. Check out my bling. Let me show you my cars. Let me show you my horses. Verse 17. Oh, man. And the Babylonians came to her. Slack you. Let me start that over. And the Babylonians came to her unto the bed of love, and they defiled her with their whoredom, and she was polluted with them, and her mind was alienated from them. So she discovered her whoredom and discovered her nakedness. Then her mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. Then my mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. So I forgot about this doggone devil, because I ain't dealing with none of them, because they all just dross, worthless. I'm gonna use that, dross. Verse 19. Yet she multiplied her whoredoms in calling to remembrance in the day of her youth, wherein she had played the harlot in the land of Mizraim. For she denoted upon their
paramours. That's like boyfriend or girlfriend. Paramours, lovers.
Lovers, okay. So she denoted upon their paramours, whose flesh is as the flesh of donkeys, and whose issue is like the issue of horses. Thus, you call to remembrance the lewdness of the youth in bruising and treating, in bruising your teeth by Egyptians, by the Mizrites, for the paps of your youth. Therefore, Aholabal, thus saith the Master Yahuwah, behold, I will raise up your lovers against you, from whom your mind is alienated, and I will bring them against you on every side. The Babylonians and all the Chaldeans,
I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess it's a type. Yeah, it's a type of people, I guess. Because it's using that with other
the Chaldeans. Yeah. Look like PKOB, pecan. Okay, pecan. I was gonna say peacock. I don't know where else I see in there. I was gonna pronounce that K as a K and a C. Peacock. Okay, pecan. And SHOA.
Shoah, Khan.
And Koa. That's something. Shoah and Koa. That sound like twins. And all the Assyrians with them. All of them desirable young men, captains and rulers, great masters of renowned. all of them riding up on horses. That's a big deal to be riding on a horse, apparently, because that gets you some. So I guess it gets you some notoriety. You riding on a horse,
get some clout, right?
Yeah, right. Like I guess for horses back then was like doves. Doves of the day. Back then it was on horses. Like, ooh, look at that stallion. Verse 24. And they shall come against you with chariots, wagons, and wheels, and with an assembly of people, which shall set against 3 bucklers and shields and helmets round about. And I will set judgment before them, and they shall judge you according to their judgment. And I will set my jealousy against you, and they shall deal furiously with you. And they shall take away your nose and your ears, and the remnant shall fall by the sword. He said they should take away your nose and your ears. My goodness. And they shall take your sons and your daughters, and your residue shall be devoured by fire. Wow. They shall also strip you out of your clothes and take away your fair jewels. Thus will I make your lewdness to cease from you, and your whoredom brought from the land of Mizraim, so that they shall not lift up your eyes unto them, nor remember Mizraim anymore. Slacky, you think about it, I know this is gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna point it out anyway. If that's what they was doing, and they was just being lewd like that. I mean, that was before Babylon. So what was they doing after Hamashiach? After the taught ones, the disciples had gone, before 70.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of folly was we into?
It's funny that you even mentioned that, because I was wondering the same thing. And the reason I say so, we know that this captivity that they're in now in Babylon and Persia was 70 years.
Right.
We've been exiled for nearly 2,000 years. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for one, we didn't hearken to the Son,
right.
But you're right. Like, what else was going on in the land,
Yeah.
And if the land by this time was taken by force by the Gentiles,
Kind. And then it kind of made me think about it, because when I was reading that just then, it made me think about what they did, how their lewdness was so up in the front, and it was just out there. And then they came over here, they stripped us down, put us on the ships, took us off the ships, and like animals, and sold us on blocks. And the last thing that the women wanted to do was deal with the one that stole them away. And that's the main thing not the main thing. That's one of the things that he wanted to do. Like, give me that one. I want that one. I want this one. I want that one. And so on and so forth. And they was just, what I'm saying? Like, you read this and how he uncovered it. Like, was they doing that on the West Coast? Was they doing that in, those that fled? I mean, we're talking generations, in between that time, from 70 to the time that we started coming over here. Mm-hmm. So we're talking a few generations, but what was they doing in that time frame? And
a lot of idolatry.
I'm sure.
I know that for certain.
Well, I'm sure they was doing some of these things that we're reading right here.
Mm-hmm.
Where you stripped. That's why we were stripped out of your clothes, and taking away your jewels. We was on the Gold Coast. Mm-hmm. They called it, and all that stuff we had was gone. It's gone. We hadn't seen it again. Now we lucky to get, lucky, but we can barely get any kind of, they blow their money on the most ridiculous jewels. And all you're doing is making other people rich. So let's continue. What was I leave off? Is that 28? Yeah.
Con.
Verse 28. The book of Yehezqeel, chapter 23, verse 28. For thus saith the Master Yahuwah, behold, I will deliver you into the hands of them in whom you hate, into the hands of them whom your mind is alienated, and they shall deal with you hatefully, and shall take away all your labor, and shall leave you naked and bare, and the nakedness of your whoredom shall be discovered, both your lewdness and your whoredoms.
Con, so you had just made a statement that they in the west coast of Kebulon, that they were probably doing the same thing that we're reading about here. I would definitely agree with that now, because we know that that's how we came over here to this captivity, naked and chained to one another. You know.
Yes, indeed, and just in the most lewd way possible.
Con.
I mean, to destroy our dignity. Our dignity was non-existent, and we thinking that was just a coincidence. And we reading this here, and we like, nah, that wasn't a coincidence.
And you know, I want to make another point.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dawid once danced naked, but he wasn't called lewd, and that was because he was caught up in the moment, giving the praise to the Most High.
He was literally praising.
Yeah, exactly. So the lewdness that we see now, and the lewdness that we come from, was more self-esteem, putting the self first, wanting to be seen by others, wanting to be desired by others. So the Most High had nothing to do with that. So this is why that's called lewd, and why Dawid's actions are not called lewd.
Right. Kind, absolutely. 100%. You know, Dawid got caught up in the moment, and his robe just came loose. It wasn't like he was out here trying to flash and show himself.
Right.
You know, he was just praising the Most High, and it just so happened that his robe, you know what I'm saying, came loose. But he was so caught up in praise because it just delivered like a victory, if I remember correctly.
No, he was bringing in the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Adam and Eve, before they sinned, they were naked.
They were
naked.
It's
not called lewdness, though.
Not ashamed, yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, yes, indeed, that's a good point. It's a very good point. So, praise to the Father. Let's continue. Verse 30. And I will do these things unto you because you have done a whoring, because you have gone a whoring after the heathen, and because you are polluted with their idols. You have walked in the way of your sister. Therefore will I give her cup unto your hand. Thus saith Yahuwah, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, you shall drink of your sister's cup, deep and large. You shall be laughed and scorned, and had in derision. It containeth much.
Wow, you know, when this is what we see today, man, you know, we're not really respected.
No.
You know, they look at us and as something to be mocked, you know, which, and rightfully so. Like the things that we hold of value have no value at all. So yeah, we're foolish.
Sodist children.
Come.
Right. Absolutely, 100%. And it's literally just amazing how this is right now. I mean, we read in this ancient text. This is ancient text. This is so old, way before Hamashiach was on the scene. And it's the same thing right here, right now. You can point these people out right here, right now, because they're doing the same stupid stuff. Indeed. Verse 33. Thus shall be fulfilled with Salakia. You shall be filled with drunkenness and sorrow, with the cup of astonishment and desolation with the cup of your sister Samaria. You shall even drink it and suck it out, and you shall break the shores thereof, and pluck off thine own breast. For I have spoken it, saith Adonai Yahuwah. Didn't we see that when we went down to the riverfront that time?
Oh,
These
God.
women, it was some heathens, and then it was some of our women who had assimilated, and then what did they walking around with no shirts on?
Yeah, God.
Because they didn't have their breasts removed.
Yeah. Like
I
that was
mean,
something to be esteemed or something to be proud of.
right. Look, I can walk around with no shirt.
Don't stare
Right.
at me. That's the look that they had on their face. But you out here, lewd.
Yeah.
No shame.
No shame. You ought to be so ashamed for all this wickedness that you into, following after these heathen, and our people was even this time they was following after them heathen. That's always been our mess up, and we still haven't learned. Verse 35. Let's continue here. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, because you have forgotten me and cast me behind your back, therefore bear you also your lewdness and your whoredoms. Yahuwah said moreover unto me, Son of man, will you judge Alahoah and Alabaha? Yea, declare unto them their abominations, that they have committed adultery, and blood is in their hands, and with their idols have they committed adultery, and have also cursed their sons, whom they bear unto me, and pass them, to pass for them through the fire, to devour them. Moreover, this, and look, I'm just trying to skip over that. I mean, that's so
It's a recipe for disaster,
man,
adultery, the spilling of innocent blood, the idolatry. This is a people getting ready to be judged.
Right. Causing their children to pass through the fire. That is just crazy.
God. And all these things go on even to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
And sadly, a lot of our people that need to hear this, they won't read from this in those buildings.
Right.
Right. I can't take anything away from the so-called New Testament. It has our king's writings in it and commandments. But if we want to fully understand everything in totality, we're going to be reading this.
Got to start from the beginning and really build on it.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? You got to build it up like a block. Lay the foundation. The foundation will be the Torah. You got to not only read the Torah, you got to get an understanding of the Torah.
Come. I can't wait to get back into it.
Yes, indeed, Aki. No doubt. No doubt. Verse 38. Moreover, this they have done unto me. They have defiled my sanctuary in the same day, and have profaned my Sabbaths. For when they have slain their children with their idols, then they came the same day into my sanctuary to profane it. And lo, thus have they done in the midst of my house. That literally makes me sick to my stomach. Literally, I got a sinking feeling in my stomach right now for reading that. My stomach was fine until I read that verse right there. Verse 39. My goodness. I wouldn't even tweet that. Verse 40. Not that the people don't need to know, but that's how terrible that our people were behaving. Like that behavior. Like I don't even know how you do that. Verse 40. And moreover, that you have sent for men to come from far, unto whom the messenger was sent. And lo, they came, for whom you did wash yourself. Plenteous, your eyes, or plenteous, what is that? Painted is your eyes, and deck yourself with ornaments. Oh, that's like put on your eye makeup. Okay, and deck yourself with ornaments. So go make yourself look good for these men to come from afar, because that's what you like to do. Verse 41, and set upon the slated bed, and the table prepared before it, whereupon you have set mine incense and my oil. And I don't understand that. How in the world can you take what is for the Most High power and share it with anybody, with any idol? I mean, I shouldn't even say anybody, with any idol, with any thought of any unreal Israel, unreal Yashar, unreal. Why we can't be Yesharon?
Indeed, indeed. We definitely don't want to be a holy by.
Not at all. I don't want nothing to do with none of them. They can keep all that mess. Let me be Yesharon. That's what I want to be. Praises to the Father. Verse 42. And a voice of the multitude being at ease was with her, and with the men of the common sort were brought Sabians from the wilderness, which put brooches upon their hands, and beautiful crowns upon their heads. Then said I unto her that was old in adulteress, will they now commit whoredom with her? And she sit with them. And she with them? They're going to do it with the Okay, verse 44. I'm trying to get through this chapter. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Verse 44. Yet they went, my goodness. Yet they went in unto her, as they go in unto a woman that played the harlot. So went they in unto Alalur and unto Alibaba, the lewd women, and the righteous men, they shall judge them after the manner of adulterousness, and after the manner of women that shed blood, because of their adulterousness, and blood is in their hand. I might have to put a rating on this video.
It's graphic. It's graphic.
I didn't realize the 23 was like this.
I mean, but you understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if people who, and it's not a knock. You know, I'm not a knock on anybody, but like if you haven't really gotten into this word and kind of got a feel for how things are written, you might not pick that up, but like you were able to pick that up. You know what I mean? This is graphic.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Without profane words, it's still graphic.
Right.
Very graphic. So, verse 46. For thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, I will bring up a company upon them, and will give them to be removed and spoiled. And the company shall stone them with stones, and dispatch them with their swords. They shall slay their sons and their daughters, and burn up the houses with fire. Thus will I cause lewdness to cease out of the land, that all women may be taught not to do after your lewdness. And they shall recompense your lewdness upon you, and you shall bear the sin of your idols, and shall know that I am Yahuwah. I am the Adonai Yahuwah. My goodness. Yeah. 23. Need a warning label.
Yeah.
God, let's continue in here. Let's move on. I know that one took a little bit longer than I anticipated. Yeah, we right at an hour. Is this at the, where did we start? 22?
Con.
Oh, shoot. Salaki. Parable of the boiling pot. Book of Yehezqėl, chapter 24, verse 1. Again, in the 9th year, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, write you the name of the day, even this same day, the king of Babylon shall set himself against Jerusalem this same day, and utter a parable unto the rebellious house, and say unto them, Thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, set on a pot, set it on, and also pour water into it. Right. Gather the pieces thereof onto it, even every good piece, one the thigh and the shoulder, fill it with the choice bones. Take the choice of the flock, and burn also the bones under it, and make it to boil well, and let them see the bones of it therein. Wherefore, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. I know this is metaphorically speaking, and that pot represent the people, and the scum represent the people, or the pot represent the city, I should say, and the scum is of course, the people, and the water is the other people. And he's saying, bring it out piece by piece. I might be wrong about that. I'm not dogmatic about it, but that's how I took it when I was reading it here.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7. For her blood is in the midst of her. She set it upon the top of the rock. She poured it not upon the ground to cover it with dust. That's the commandment that he gave. Pour it on the ground and cover it with dust.
Mm-hmm.
Don't eat the blood thereof.
God.
Verse 8. That it might cause fury to come up to take vengeance. I have set her blood upon the top of the rock, that it should not be covered. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, woe to the bloody city, and I will even make a pile for fire great. Heap on wood, kindle the fire, consume the flesh, and spice it well, and let the bones be burned. Then set it empty upon the coals thereof, that the brass of it be not hot, and may burn, that the filthiness of it may be molten in it, and the scum of it may be consumed. She hath wearied herself with lies, and her great scum went not forth out of her. Her scum shall be in the fire, and your filthiness is lewdness. In your filthiness is lewdness, because I have purged you, and you was not purged. You shall not be purged from your filthiness anymore, till I have caused my fury to rest upon you. Oh, my gracious. Verse 14. Didn't we get some good stuff yesterday?
Well, we read like one, I think a couple of positive, good feeling chapters, but yeah, it was a lot of Yasharal's folly.
Yeah. It was. I remember us going into a lot of the folly, and then after that, he said, "I'm gonna bring you back, and I'm gonna set you up." Because that man, reading this is hard.
Yeah.
Reading this is hard. It's hurtful. It's hurtful to see our people to understand our people was doing this in Jerusalem.
Yeah, and it's fear. It's a fear as well, like, because at this point, if we get to this point, there's nothing that we can do. There's nobody we can call out to, like, Father, forgive me. All that is done. You know, it's like this. And I'm sure you've encountered this with your children as well. They're bouncing off the walls, and you done told them to sit down and be quiet, but they keep on bouncing off the walls, and it's finally reached the point to where you're getting ready to act on it, and then they're like, "Okay, Daddy, we're gonna sit down and be quiet," but at that point, you don't even care no more.
Right, right, God. You raise up that daddy voice. Look here.
Right.
Ready to throw out some 4-letter expletives. Cat dog it.
Right. And they know what time it is now.
Right.
They ready to sit down. Okay, Daddy, we gonna be good.
No, we don't want that.
Right.
We'll be good now. Now we see you serious. We'll be good. I was serious from the beginning, right? I was serious when I said it the first time.
I meant what I said. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, that's Abba. I meant what I said, and you didn't do it. So now I'm about to, what do you say? This is the day. So I guess a year from now is when they coming. And he done told Yehezqēl to mark it down. My gracious. Chapter 24, verse 14. I, Yahuwah, have spoken it. It shall come to pass, and I will do it, and not go back. Neither will I spare, neither will I repent. According to your ways and according to your doings shall they be judged, saith Adonai Yahuwah. The death of Yehezqēl's wife is a sign. This brother here, man, I really feel bad for being in the midst of all of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he doing what he's supposed to do. He about Abba's business.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's stuck with this dross generation that is just built on folly. And it's not even like it was back in the days of Moshe. They listened to Moshe. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was some respect there, especially after what happened with Korah.
Mm-hmm.
They was like, okay, this cat is real. Especially when he came, he came down from the mount. I don't know how Korah even looked. I'm getting off track, but this is some hard read here, so I need a little breather. But I don't know how Korah even challenged Moshe when he came off the mount with his face glowing so much that they had to put a veil over his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you see the power that he's dealing with, and yet you're going to challenge him, talking about the whole congregation. Like, I don't even think Yehezqēl even had a situation like that, where they were looking at him like, it's the man of Abba.
Right.
Don't cross him. So, continue with verse 15. Also, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, behold, I will take from you the desire of thine eyes with a stroke. Yet neither shall you mourn nor weep, neither shall your tears run down. Forbear to cry. Make no mourning for the dead. Bind the tire of your head upon you, and put your shoes upon your feet. Cover not your lips, and eat no bread of men. So I spake unto the people in the morning, and at even my wife died. And I did in the morning as I was commanded. Man, that's a rough place to be at.
Con.
This woman who's been with you and been taking care of you and doing all of this, and you can't even mourn for it. You can't even. And this is from the Abba. This ain't from, man.
I mean, you're exactly right, because it's not good for man to dwell alone. So we were sent helpmeets.
Right.
It's a lot going on with this brother as well as his people at this time, and I just know that wives are a comfort to their husbands a lot of times. So, like, you're losing everything.
Right. With these sorry butt people.
Con.
And oh, I'm more for you, YehezqЄl. Yehezqєl Saki. I don't know why I keep saying K. Yehezqєl, I'm more for you. Nothing against Abba, but I feel his pain, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Verse 19, continuing here. And the people said unto me, will you not tell us what these things are to us, that you do so? Then I answered them, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, speak unto the house of Israel, and say, unto the house of Israel, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, behold, I will profane my sanctuary, and exceeding an excellency of your strength, the desire of your eyes, and that which your spoils, which your soul pitieth. Your sons and daughters whom you have left shall fall by the sword, and you shall do as I have done, and shall not cover your lips, nor eat any bread of men. And the tire shall be upon your head, and your shoes upon your feet, and you shall not mourn nor weep, but you shall pine away for your iniquity, and mourn one towards another. Thus Yehezqєl was upon you a sign, is unto you a sign, according to all that he hath done, shall you do. And when this cometh, you shall know that I am Adonai Yahuwah. Also, the Son of Man shall it not be in the day when I came from them their slacking. Let me start that over. Also, Son of Man, shall it not be in the day when I take from them their strength, the joy of their glory, and desire of their eyes, and that whereupon they set their minds, their sons and their daughters. Of course, you're going to think about your sons and your daughters. You're not even supposed to have to bury your children, but,
Con.
But this is what they did. They put their children in the fire. Like, that's crazy. Verse 26, to a doggone idol. My goodness. Verse 26, well, I can't for the life of me come to why you would do that. Like, why would you see somebody else do it and then you go, I would do that too?
Yeah, where's the love for your child and your inheritance and your legacy?
Yeah, just that natural parent instinct. Like, man, y'all crazy. Get up out of here.
Right.
I'd have got my bow and arrow. Like, get up out of here.
Yeah, I probably would have got up out of the land. Y'all doing that?
Well, I'm saying the people that were showing them that. For the people that were showing them that, I would have got them up out of there.
Oh, yeah, con.
Like, we ain't doing that. Like, man, we ain't doing that. No, we ain't doing that. Y'all need to get up out of here. We ain't doing that. That's straight up folly. We ain't doing that. Even if you're not dealing with Abba like that, that you should have sense enough to be like, no, absolutely not. Even the animals protect their children from the predator. They don't go and, here, take my child. Like, what? That's foolery. Verse 26. That he that escaped in the day shall come unto you, and cause you to hear, it was in your ears. Slacky, I read that completely wrong. That he that escaped in the day shall come unto you to cause you to hear it in your ears. In that day shall your mouth be open to him which is escaped, and you shall speak and be no more dumb, and you shall be a sign unto them, and they shall know him, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. My goodness. Let me get to this last chapter here. This is so bad. All right. Judgment on Gentile nations, the nation of Ammon, children of Lot.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Yehezqēl, chapter 25 and verse 1. The word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against the Amorites, and prophesy against them, and say unto the Amorites, Hear the word of Adonai Yahuwah. Thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, because you said, against my sanctuary, then it was profane, and against the land of Israel, when it was desolate, and against the house of Yehuda, when it went into captivity. What is that word?
Aha.
Oh, aha.
Hey, ah.
Awaka. Awaka.
Mm-hmm.
Aha. Look, I butchered that. I butchered that one. I thought it was something like, what kind of word is this?
Oh, God.
Aha. Okay, all right. Verse 4. Behold, therefore I will deliver you to the men of the east for a possession, and they shall set their palaces in you. And they shall set their palaces in you, and make their dwelling in you. They shall eat your fruit, and they shall drink your milk. And I will make Rabbah, a stable for camels, and the Amorites, and the Amorites and the couch, and the Amorites a crouching place for flocks. And you shall know I am Yahuwah. For thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, because you have clapped your hands and stomped your feet and rejoiced in your heart with all your despise, with all your despite against the land of Israel. Behold, therefore I will stretch out my hand upon you, and will deliver you for a spoil to the heathen, and I will cut you off from the people, and I will cause you to perish out of the country, and I will destroy you, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. Got to get Moab.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8. Thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, because Moab and Seir do say, Behold, the house of Yehuda is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from his cities which are on his frontiers.
Frontiers, con.
Frontiers, I was lucky. And glory the country. I think that's a Sholomoth. Yeah, these are. Yeah, I'm not dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
That wicked place, another wicked place, and I think that's okay. But Keramoth, there's something like that. I think we looked at that one before.
Yeah, con.
Verse 10. Upon the men of the east with the Amorites, and will give them in possession to the Amorites, may not be remembered among all the nations. among the nations. And I will execute judgment upon Moab, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. Edom, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, because Edom hath dwelt against the house of Yehudah, and taken vengeance and had great offense, and revenged himself upon them.
I told you the Most High was gonna get the white man.
Edom, you cannot get away.
That's a joke.
Right,
Joke.
No doubt.
Because we don't believe that. We don't believe that Edom is the white man. But you know, I've heard brothers like they'll hear that and they'll go off. See?
So I'm like, get him. Let's see what he gonna get. Let's see what he gonna deal with him at. Maybe that'll tell us.
Okay.
Verse 13. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, I will stretch out my hand upon America and will cut off man and beast from it. Oh, my bad. I will stretch out my hand upon Edom and will cut off man and beast from it and will make it desolate. From California to New York shall fall by the sword. Oh, my bad. From T-Man and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. I should have included Canada in there.
You're not going to get away.
Not going to get away. I'm flee to Canada. No, we're going to get Canada too.
Right.
Nah, that's the desert.
Okay.
Ain't no place for the so-called white man. He'd have been consumed in the desert.
Okay.
If that was the case, we would have never had to deal with them because they would have been dead. They wouldn't have been able to live. It would have been Esau would have never made it.
Okay.
Yeah, he'd have been consumed in the desert where he was born.
His story would have been real short.
Real short. He'd have been out there like 14 days until the sun shine, and Edom is dead. He was a bright red and burnt with lesions on his face.
Right.
Like the ones that we saw on that post, was that a couple of weeks ago? They was out there getting that sunburn. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. They were looking like those red hot sausages.
Yeah, right, like lobsters. Ugh, they look horrible. Yeah, that would be them if that was the case. So, verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people, Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Adonai Yahuwah. Philista. Thus said Adonai Yahuwah, because the Philistines have dealt by revenge and have taken vengeance with a despiteful heart to destroy it from the old hated, for the old hatred, slacking. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, behold, I will stretch out my hand upon the Philistines and will cut off the what is that? Cherethims, and destroy the remnant, Tolaki, of the from the seacoast. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebuke, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. That make me feel a little bit better. Just a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. So,
but you know what's interesting?
What's that?
You know, there's different, not archaeologists, but people who research, you know, stuff of people, and you know, they say that these Philistines are the Tuareg of North Africa, and amongst them, you know, they say that well, I've never heard anybody say that it's Moab with them, but the people who serve them are sub-Saharan people. They're metal workers, and just the works of occupations are done by people who are from sub-Saharan, I think that they're Israelites, and these people pretty much rule them from their camels.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they sit on the camels and these people walk on the ground.
Yeah, kind of,
Like
and are required to, make their weapons, make anything that they need, and they do it, and I mean, I think that that's a curse as well,
Yeah, sound like Israel to me.
Yeah.
Definitely sound like they would be Israelites. Those are the ones on the ground. I've seen servants walk, sitting on horses, sitting on camels, and then I've seen princes walking on the earth as servants. Yeah, yes, indeed. All right, I'm gonna pass it to you, and you can finish out these last couple three if you don't mind.
Hey, Aki.
All
right, this is the book of Yehezqėl, chapter 26, Judgment on Tyre, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first day of the month, that the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, because that Tyrus hath said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken, that was the gates of the people. She is turned unto me. I shall be replenished. Now she is laid waste. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yahweh, Behold, I am against you, O Tyrus, and I will cause many nations to come up against you, as the sea causeth his waves to come up. And they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus, and break down her towers. I will also scrap her dust from her, and make her like the top of a rock. And it shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea. For I have spoken it, saith Adonai Yahweh, and it shall become a spoil to the nations. And her daughters, which are in the field, shall be slain by the sword, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Verse 7. For thus saith Adonai Yahweh, Behold, I will bring upon Tyrus the evil king of Babylon, a king of kings, from the north, with horses, and with chariots, and with horsemen, and companies, and much people. He shall slay with the sword thy daughters in the field, and he shall make a fort against you, and cast a mount against you, and lift up the buckler against you. That buckler, when we're walking in righteousness, our buckler is the Most High.
Right.
But when we're far from him, we have no defense.
Right. Not at all.
But this is not talking about us. It's talking about Tyrus, but when I saw that word buckler, that's what I thought about. Verse 9. And he shall set engines of war against your walls, and with his axes he shall break down your towers. By reason of abundance of his horses, their dust shall cover you. Your walls shall shake at the noise of the horsemen, and of the wheels, and of the chariots, when he shall enter into your gates, as men enter into a city wherein is made a breach. With the hoofs of his horses shall he tread down all your streets. He shall slay your people by the sword, and your strong garrisons shall go down to the ground. And they shall make a spoil of your riches, and make a prey of your merchandise. And they shall break down your walls, and destroy your pleasant houses. And they shall lay thy stones, and your timber, and your dust in the midst of the water. And I will cause the noise of your songs to cease, and the sound of your harps shall be no more heard. And I will make you like the top of a rock. You shall be a place to spread nets upon. You shall be built no more. For I, Yahweh, have spoken it, saith Adonai Yahweh. Thus saith Adonai Yahweh to Tyrus, shall not the owl shake at the sound of your fall? When the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in the midst of you? Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones, and lay away their robes, and put off their bordered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground, and shall tremble at every moment, and be astonished at you. And they shall take up a lamentation for you, and say to you, How are you destroyed? that was inhabited of seafaring men, the renowned city, which was strong in the sea, she and her inhabitants, which caused their terror to be on all that haunted. Now shall the isles tremble in the day of your fall. Yea, the isles that are in the sea shall be troubled at your departure. For thus saith Adonai Yahweh, when I shall make you a desolate city, like the cities that are not inhabited, when I shall bring up the deep upon you, and great waters shall cover you, when I shall bring you down with them that descend into the pit, with the people of old time, and shall set you in low parts of the earth, in places desolate of old, with them that go down to the pit, that you be not inhabited. I shall set glory in the land of the living. I will make you a terror, and you shall be no more. Though you be sought for, yet shall you never be found again, saith Adonai Yahweh.
Man, he had it in for Tyrus.
Yeah, Khan.
Yeah, them a whole chapter and a lament.
Yeah, I mean, that almost makes me feel like these people are no more, you know?
All right, Khan. Yeah, they really do. I mean, look, and then the next chapter is about them too.
Yeah, Khan.
And it's like the whole chapter. My goodness.
Yep.
It's the whole, wow. Okay.
All right, this is the book of Yehezqėl, chapter 27, Lament over Tyre, verse 1. The word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Now, you son of man, take up a lamentation for Tyrus, and say unto Tyrus, O you that are situate at the entry of the sea, which are a merchant of the people of many isles. Thus saith Adonai Yahweh, O Tyrus, you have said, I am of perfect beauty. Your borders are in the midst of the seas. Your builders have perfectly your beauty. Slakia. Your builders have perfected your beauty.
Mm-hmm.
They have made all your ship boards of fir trees of Senir. They have taken cedars from Lebanon to make masts for you. Of the oaks of Bashan have they made thine oars. The company of the Asherites have made your benches of ivory, brought out of the isles of Kittim. Fine linen with broidered work from Mizraim was that which you spreaded forth to be thy sail. Blue and purple from the isles of Elisha, which was that which covered you. The inhabitants of Zidon and Arvad were your mariners, your wise men, O Tyrus, that were in you were your pilots. The ancients of Gebal and the wise men thereof were in you thy caulkers. All the ships of the sea with their mariners were in you to occupy thy merchandise. They of Persia and of Lud and of Put were in thine army. Your men of war, they hang the shield and the helmet in you. They set forth thy comeliness. The men of Arvad with thine army were upon your walls round about. And the Gamadines were in thy towers. They hang their shields upon your walls round about. They have made your beauty perfect. Tarshish was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of all kind of riches, with silver, iron, tin, and lead. They traded in your fairs. Yavan, Tubal, and Meshach, Salakia. Yavan, Tubal, and Meshiach. They were thy merchants. They traded the persons of men and vessels of brass in the market.
Mm.
You know, it sounds like they were putting people into captivity.
Yeah, they were slave traders, and these are the children of Japhet.
Khan.
Javon, Tubal, and Mishit.
Indeed,
Yeah.
And it's crazy how things continue, you know.
Yeah.
Verse 14. They of the house of Togarmah traded in thy fairs with horses and horsemen and mules. The men of Dedan were your merchants. Many owls were the merchandise of thine hand. They brought you for a present horns of ivory and ebony. They got that from Akebulon, Africa.
Okay. Yeah, that ivory. That's what. Because where else do they have elephants? They got some. They got them in India.
India does. India
Yeah.
does as well, but right there in the Levant, in this area, perhaps there could have been elephants there as well. But we know that they were in Africa.
Right.
Verse 16. Syria was thy merchant by reason of the multitude of the wares of thy making. They occupied in your fairs with emeralds, purple, embroidered work, and fine linen, and coral, and agate. Yehuda and the land of Yasharal, they were your merchants. They traded in your market wheat of Minnith, and Panag, and honey, and oil, and balm. Damascus was your merchant in the multitude of the wares of thy making, for the multitude of all riches, in the wine of Helbon, and white wool. Dan also and Yavon going to and fro, occupied in your fairs, brought iron, cassia, and calamus were in your market.
Slacky, is this the same Dan as son of Israel?
I'm not sure.
Vidon. Okay, a place uncertain, perhaps in Mediterranean of Arabia. Okay, so I guess not. I was wondering why it mentioned them. So it put both of them on there. So this is a different Dan. 2051 is a different Dan, and then 1835 is the son of Jacob.
Okay. Well, so I'm thinking at this time, Dan would have been gone into captivity with northern tribes.
Yeah, didn't Dan leave before that though? Because didn't he go like way off, like after Shimshon, I believe? I don't know. We didn't really read that, but because remember, if Dan would have still been there, that means Ephraim and Manasseh would have been. I don't know. It would almost been like 13 tribes instead of 10, instead of 12.
Well, the children of Yosef, he got a double portion.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. Like in counting, it would be 13, but I've heard people say that before, and they reference that Dan isn't mentioned when they regathered. At Dan, I don't know if Dan has a gate or not.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't have a gate, but neither does Ephraim.
Okay, kind.
Yeah, Ephraim doesn't have a gate. The gates are labeled as Joseph and Manasseh, and the other 12, and the other 10.
So yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, I think that's because, and Quab mentioned that was because they were blotted out because of that idolatry. Dan brought it in, and Ephraim brought it in, and so they got blotted out. That's why their name is not mentioned there. But it's ironic that it would be mentioned. But I guess Joseph would stand for Ephraim, and then Manasseh would stand for Dan. Because truthfully, it should be Ephraim. Not Ephraim. I mean, even with them being blotted out, but they still gonna have a gate. Not a gate, but they still gonna have an area that mentions it in the end.
It kind of, and is Dan a part of the 144?
Okay. Nah.
So it's Ephraim and Manasseh that's mentioned here.
Yeah, it said there it is, Ephraim and Manasseh that's mentioned there. They what's his name? Deacon Sakari said that they had been reduced. So because they had been reduced, I guess they weren't multiplying like they, or somehow I wish I could get him to explain that, go deeper into that as to his study, you know, and what he's come up with that. But he said because Dan has been reduced, that's why they don't have a gate. Not a gate, but that's why they're not mentioned in the 144.
Okay, con.
Yeah.
So that.
Also.
All right, this is the book of Yehezqeel, chapter 27, verse 20. The Dan was your merchant in precious clothes for chariots. Arabia and all the princes of Kedar, they occupied with you in lambs and rams and goats. And these were thy merchants, Slakia. And these were they, your merchants. The merchants of Sheba and Ra'amah, they were your merchants. They occupied in your fairs with chief of all spices and with all precious stones and gold. Haran and Canaan and Eden, the merchants of Sheba, Ashur, and Kilmad were thy merchants. These were thy merchants in all sorts of things, in blue clothes and broidered work, and in chests of rich apparel, bound with cords, and made of cedar among thy merchandise. The ships of Tarshish did sing of you in thy market, and you was replenished and made very glorious in the midst of the seas. Your rowers have brought you into great waters. The east wind hath broken you in the midst of the seas. Your riches and your fares, your merchandise, your mariners and your pilots, your caulkers and the occupiers of your merchandise, and all your men of war that are in you, and in all your company which is in the midst of you, shall fall into the midst of the seas in the day of your ruin. The suburbs shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots, and all that handle the oar, the mariners, and all thy pilots of the sea shall come down from their ships. They shall stand upon the land, and shall cause their voice to be heard against you, and shall cry bitterly, and shall cast up dust upon their heads. They shall wallow themselves in the ashes, and they shall make themselves utterly bald for you, and gird them with sackcloth, and they shall weep for you with bitterness of heart and bitter wailing. Verse 32. And in their wailing they shall take up a lamentation for you and lament over you, saying, what city is like Tyrus, like the destroyed in the midst of the sea? When thy wares went forth out of the seas, you filled many people. You did enrich the kings of Erech with the multitude of your riches and of your merchandise. In the time when you shall be broken by the seas and the depths of the waters, your merchandise and all your company in the midst of you shall fall. All the inhabitants of the isle shall be astonished at you, and your king shall be sore afraid. They shall be troubled in their countenance. The merchants among, Salakia, verse 36, the merchants among the people shall hiss at you. You shall be a terror, and never shall be any more.
Wow.
God.
Wow. So Tyrus is going to be extinct. Dang, it's 28 is about them.
Yeah, come.
Man, who? That's wow. Okay.
All right. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28. Tyre's king overthrown. Verse 1. The word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith Adonai Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and you have said, I am the Most High. I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas. Yet you art a man, and not the Most High. Though you set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that can hide from you. With your wisdom and with your understanding, you have gotten thee riches, and have gotten gold and silver into your treasures. By your great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and your heart is lifted up because of thy riches. You know, that's why we got to remain humble. You know,
Right.
can't be puffed up. You know, and y'all forgive me if I ever seem like I'm puffed up. Sometimes I say things like, "Oh, I read this," I read this the other day. I'm not justified by that. I'm justified when I do what I read. You know,
God.
the hearers of the word are not justified, but the doers of the word.
All right, that's good. On the money.
All right, verse 5. Oh, Salakia, verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yahweh, because you have set your heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon you, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of your wisdom, and they shall defile your brightness. They shall bring you down to the pit, and you shall die in the depths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Will you yet say before him that slayeth you, I am the Most High? But you shall be a man, and no power in the hand of him that slayeth you. You shall die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith Adonai Yahweh. These people weren't. Let's see. Tyrus was uncircumcised as well, right?
Yeah, Tyrus, if I'm not mistaken.
Isn't that the Philistines?
Well, we read Philistine.
Yeah, Khan. Who is this?
Yeah, I'm looking now. Tyra or Tyrus, a rock, a Phoenician city in the Mediterranean coast.
Okay, so these are the Phoenicians then.
Okay. Well, why is he talking to them like it's almost like they owe him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they get 3 chapters.
You can.
In Ezekiel, in y'all Ezekiel, like what?
And when we were reading Chronicles and Kings, I remember us reading about kings of Tyrus, coming down, and I want to say the temple was built by a man from Tyre, wasn't he? But I don't remember reading about any of their wickedness like this.
Yeah, I think this is the first place we've really seen this. Yeah, because they was in it mentioned them in Chronicles 14:1, 2:2, and 2:10. And it's the most.
It's the most that's written about them.
In Ezekiel right here. Yeah, everywhere else is just a quick couple places in Psalms. Look, they in Psalms 83.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I remember that. I remember that now that I think about it. Yeah, so.
All right, this is the book of Yehezqėl, chapter 28, verse 12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith Adonai Yahweh, you sealeth up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You had been in Eden, the garden of the Most High. Every precious stone was your covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold, the workmanship of your tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in you in the day that you was created.
Wait a minute. This is Satan.
Okay.
That's why he going on so he ain't on him. Look at this next verse.
Verse 14. Khan. You are the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set you so. You was upon the set apart mountain of the Most High. You have walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Khan.
Walking up and down. Going to and fro in the earth and up and down in it.
Khan. So these people were, this is talking about Hasatan.
Yeah,
was he in that land or something?
I don't know why it's calling him Tyrus. Tyre, it's got to be a metaphor in some manner. I mean, I think it was talking about the people initially, and then it kind of shifted because Tyre is not an anointed cherub, and he wasn't on the mountain of the Most High.
God,
You know what I'm saying? So this got to be Satan. And then it was talked about you was in Eden. You have been in Eden, the garden of the Most High. Like what?
Indeed.
All right.
All right, verse 15. You were perfect in your ways from the day that you were created, till iniquity was found in you. By the multitude of your merchandise, they have filled the midst of you with violence, and you had sinned. Therefore, I will cast you as profane out of the mountain of the Most High, and I will destroy you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You have corrupted your wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast you to the ground. I will lay you before kings, that they may behold you. You have defiled my sanctuaries by the multitudes of your iniquities, by the iniquity of your traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of you. It shall devour you, and I will bring you to ashes upon the arret in the sight of all them that behold you. All they that know you among the people shall be astonished at you. You shall be a terror, and never shall you be anymore. All right. This is the judgment of Sidon, verse 20. Again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Zidon and prophesy against it, and say, Thus saith Adonai Yahweh, Behold, I am against you, O Zidon. I will be glorified in the midst of you, and they shall know that I am Yahweh, when I shall have executed judgment in her, and shall be sanctified in her. For I will send into her pestilence and blood into her streets, and the wounded shall be judged in the midst of her by the sword upon her on every side. And they shall know that I am Yahweh. And there shall be no more a pricking briar unto the house of Yasharal, nor any grieving thorn of all that are round about them that despise them. And they shall know that I am Adonai Yahweh. Yasharal regathered. All right, good deal.
Yeah. And on a high note.
Kind indeed. Verse 25. Thus saith Adonai Yahweh, when I shall have gathered the house of Yasharal from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be sanctified in them in the sight of the heathen, then shall they dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Jacob, and they shall dwell safely therein, and shall build houses and plant vineyards. Yea, they shall dwell with confidence when I have executed judgment upon all those that despise them round about them. And they shall know that I am Yahweh, their power. Hallelujah.
Yeah, praise God. My gracious, well.
Some good stuff, Doc.
Yeah, kind.
Well, the end, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yes, indeed. Tyra, I was like, that had me kind of baffled a little bit, but yeah, it started making sense. Like, All right, let's go to final thoughts here. I begin with, so the evil in the midst of our people, ridiculous. And every time I see it, every time I read it, every time I hear about it, it's unsettling. It's never anything you get over. It's never anything that you just brush under the rug. Like, oh well, yeah, are people doing evil? Proceed. No, it's always unsettling. It's always unnerving. It's always triggering. Like, what the heck are y'all thinking? You know I will kill us. So why would you do this ridiculous stuff? Because we have a penalty to pay. Judgment on the nations like I said, it made me feel a little bit better, especially after reading all of that evil that we were doing. And not to say that I'm just so against the nations, but they had a hand, a great instrument in our folly and our going on, because we often wanted to be like them, and that's what we took our cues more than not. We wasn't coming up with these ideas in the midst of ourselves. We were getting these from the nations round about us. So that's where we learned how to sacrifice our children in the fire to idols. These were the idols that we were dealing with, the idols that were round about us, that these other people had. So, and I pray that, Abba add an increase to all those that would hear, and better understanding for those who, who would listen. And I'll leave it there. Right out.
Khan, laying back in all the judgment on the nations, I can recall hearing atheists, when they hear the message of the Most High saying, well, none of this affects me because that's not my power. That's not who I serve. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter. Every knee is going to bow. And whether you proclaim the Most High or not, you will be under the wrath of the Most High and under judgment. So it makes sense just to serve him with the perfect heart, which we're still trying to do to this day. Also reading about, that judgment of Tyrus. It's the love of the Most High. He's correcting his people, because we read in Jeremiah that, he's going to bring us back, but not leave us altogether unpunished, right?
Right.
But his love for his people, I'm going to remove all these people who despised you, who profited off of you.
Right.
You're going to dwell in your land safely. So, that's joy. That's something to look forward to.
Okay.
All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah. Yeah. How about mentioning the sons of Japhet and selling people? Like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was like, wow. I didn't. Wow. Yeah. So, my goodness. So much to be gleaned from this text, and which is why we read it, to better understand who we are and what it's talking about. And praises to the Father for the ability to do so. And all praises for another Sabbath, y'all. And we're going to leave it there. And we'll close out with the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 12, and verse number 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It is imperative and so very important that we understand that in the conclusion of the whole matter, we are to fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Why? Because this is the whole duty of man. And at the end of it all, the judgment will be that we fear the Most High and keep his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. I'm your Akazaki Yahoo, joined by my most esteemed Akenaniah. We give all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua, Hamashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom, Wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait till the day that the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant. Until that day, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbaton, Yasharal.
Hallelujah. Shabbaton, Shabbaton.